Hello again YouTube, and welcome back to Just Get a Tesla. And today on the Costa del Clyde, I'm here at the Tesla Centre in Glasgow. As you can see, it's another gorgeous day and I'm going to meander my way home. So my car is sat on the supercharger back there somewhere getting some power in, and I'm going home to Northern Aberdeenshire, and I want to go the scenic way today. I'm not going to touch the motorway once. It's all going to be back roads, country roads, nice scenic roads. So if you like watching my scenic drive videos, this one's for you. And also, we're going to have some fun with efficiency. I will confess, I'm a bit of a sucker at the moment for Model Y Juniper spotting, and there's a couple dotted around the site here, but not in what I would consider to be the most stunning colours. The silver looks pretty, but I don't know, silver cars for me was a bit 1990s, where practically everything seemed to be silver. Similarly, there's one inside that is black. Interesting, not for me. Again, I will leave you guessing as to what my favourite colour is on the Model Y Juniper, and you're probably wrong, but hey, we'll see. There's not really many of them about yet though. So as I'm recording this in the middle of May in 2025, deliveries haven't really started in the UK. That is the end of this month. So a couple of weeks to go before we start seeing lots of them, but soon they're going to be everywhere. Right, time to go. We've gone to 90%. That's absolutely bags and bags and bags, but I was quite frankly sat here doing email. So let's see, does the button actually work on this one? No. These V4 chargers really have got a problem. The button on the top should stop charging, and it keeps not doing so. We go to charging and stop and unlock. Honestly, they're universal, but they're less functional for Tesla, which is daft really. .35 miles in, and I'm stuck in a big queue. We are in Callander, which is the first place of any real size that I have come to since leaving Glasgow and heading north out of the city centre. I was really impressed as to just how quickly you were out into open countryside. Anyway, this is a beautiful place, if not for the summer Saturday mega traffic jam, which obviously is screwing the place up. But 226 watt hours per mile so far, which is wafty. I did have the window open for a fair chunk of it. I've shut it now and put the aircon on just while I'm talking on the camera bit. But yeah, this is an enjoyable trip. The one thing you're going to note on all of these montage sections, I'm not using autopilot today at all. And I think this is something that Tesla and Elon don't actually get, which is automation, this and that and all the rest of it, fine. But what about where you actually like driving? Huh? I actually enjoy driving. All right, there's times where I don't, I'm tired or traffic's silly or whatever else, but out in the countryside on the open road, I'd quite like to drive. You know, it's available to take over if I don't want to, but I get the impression sometimes that some of the design choices, like the indicator stalk being removed on the Model 3 because, oh, you don't need an indicator because of FSD. I think those are the kind of decisions that are made because they just assume that everybody is going to be using FSD all the time. Well, not only do you not have FSD outside of North America, but you also have this rather slight issue of what about if you like to drive? Who's thought about the drivers here? Because these cars are fun to drive. They really are. We are coming down into Crieff, which is again the next biggest settlement on this run. There's not many reasonably sized towns. You could say Callander isn't actually reasonably sized, but it was very busy. I think Crieff is probably bigger, and again it's probably going to be fairly busy considering that it is an amazing, beautiful, sunny Saturday in what is still the spring, allegedly. But we've had amazing weather for, well, I think a month and a half, 2 months. It's just been outrageous, really. So there's an awful lot of tourist traffic out and about, probably including my good self, because let's be honest, I'm not local, I'm not going to see anybody locally, I'm on a tourist run. And what a tourist run it has been. So we're on 206 watt hours per mile. So what's that? 4.8, 4.9 miles per kilowatt hour, something like that, which is fantastic. And that's after 68 miles. So this car is genuinely brilliant at wafting along on country roads. Less so trying to creep along on motorways, as we discovered. It was a bit difficult trying to crawl along the motorway and not burn energy. But for roads out, as you've been seeing on these montage sections, or for going through towns, it's absolutely fantastic, especially when the weather is as beautiful as it is. Obviously, the negative about places like this, where there isn't a bypass, is that all of the traffic has to plough through the centre of town, which is going to be a pain in the bum, really. But fantastic for all of the local shops, because at least people are going past and they might go, ooh, that looks interesting, let's go in. This is one of those things, though, where I don't talk about the environment a huge amount on this channel, because I'm not doing this for the environment. I'm doing it because electric drivetrain is superior, but it is quite nice not to be emitting loads of clag as I go through their town. That's definitely a good thing, even though I don't call it out very often. We're on the climb now up towards Spittal of Glenshee on the A93. It's going to be interesting to see how much energy we take it out of the battery when we get to the top, and then how much energy we put back in on the descent. So we started off on 209 and it's on 215 now, so it's not that big a difference so far. But although we're clearly going uphill, we're not going that uphill, not yet. This is going to get much, much steeper and far longer. So let's see how much goes out of the battery on the climb. Let's see how much goes back in again on the descent. That's the thing I'm interested in on this. And again, I'm wafting it along. I'm not driving aggressively. I'm not even following really closely with the people ahead, because if I'm not overtaking them, what's the point? I might as well gap myself so that I can actually see where I'm going. I don't understand this with people who aren't overtaking but drive really close to the car in front of them. What's the point? This, unfortunately, has been the story of this car all the time that I've had it, which is that the eSIM that we have in the UK has got really patchy coverage. So when it loses connection, you lose mapping. There is no buffer, there isn't anything like that, it just goes. Now, I know exactly where I'm going, so it isn't a problem, but it doesn't look as pretty. There's been a few people going and overtaking and saying, wow, we've got to get past everybody. And you know what, if I was on a motorbike and I was practicing for the Isle of Man TT, then maybe. But otherwise, wafting, actually, even on a driver's road like this, is still fine. I mean, look at it. It's not like you can throw yourself at these bends with any kind of speed. They're tight and twisty in quite a few places, so there's no point even trying. But never mind. I'd rather have people go zooming off in front of me and not be a problem than be stuck behind me and aggressively tailgating. As we've got no map, shall we look at the 10-mile average? So 295 watt hours per mile on the 10 mile, and we're going to leave that on, I think, now as we climb up the hill, because there's no map to be able to see anyway, so we might as well see energy. Can you guess where the uphill and downhill sections have been over the last 10 miles? Can you see on my energy chart? Although the further up here we go, the more it's going to be amber and above the line than green and below the line. And then we'll get to the top and it reverses. Going around Spittal of Glenshee, we're on 221 watt hours per mile. And as you can see, the energy chart on the 10 mile is now at 257. Let's keep an eye on both of those numbers as we now really start to climb. It's gonna get steep pretty quickly. And you know it's about to get steep when you go through snow gates, because when it's bad, these close. I love landscapes like this where you've got this long valley, steep sides, and you can't actually tell where the road is going to exit. It's just heading off towards a line of rock. You're not quite sure where you're going to go. I can see now the road's over there, kind of going through. There's a nick in the rock. We're going to climb up and work our way through that by the look of it. I have done this road before, but I think I've always done it the other way. I think I've always done it southbound. So this might be the first time I've ever done this northbound. For anyone who's watching in North America who asks questions about FSD, have you guys got FSD yet? Why aren't you using FSD, etc.? So this is the kind of road with these blind summits. They're not particularly steep, but they keep going. This is the kind of road where autopilot has phantom braking problems because it keeps thinking it's about to collide with fresh air as you go over the top. I've seen it. Old road on that side. I've seen it. It's hilariously bad, which again is another reason why I'm driving or completely manually all day today, because autopilot on this kind of road. I've done plenty of stress testing, if you've seen those videos. It's just not good enough. So, okay, fine, maybe FSD is going to be radically better, but what about, as I keep saying, what about for those of us who actually like driving? Yeah? I don't need to worry. I don't want to be going up here worrying about the computer and having to monitor it because it's going to think we're about to crash into fresh air. I'd rather just drive and look at it. I did say we'd get a lot more orange. We might be getting close to the top. 12% grade doesn't sound like a lot. Actually, it feels steeper than that, but it's the fact that it's continuous for such a long way. And I love this now, where all you can see in front is sky. The world has disappeared. There is only up and up. And there's the top. Well, here's the top. So 415 on the last 10 miles and 236 in total, with 47% in the battery as we hit the top and start coming down. This is Glenshee Ski Centre. Well, coming up anyways, Glenshee Ski Centre, but obviously not a lot of skiing going on at the moment due to the fact that it is, even up here, 19 degrees. So baking hot, sunshine, not a cloud in the sky. Bad news if you want to go snowboarding. And now it really starts to drop away once you clear the ski centre. Another set of snow gates, although I don't think those ones are used very often. Wow, someone's legs must be absolutely burning from climbing up here on a push bike. Keep going, lad, keep going. Blimey. That is not my idea of fun. That really is not my idea of fun. Then look at the chart. Whee! As it just drops away. Battery's now got to 48. It was on 47. as I've still not got the map, but I appear to have signal, I am guessing that the part of the car computer which does the map thing has completely lost connection to it. So we're going to do a driving 2-button reset, because when you do a 2-button press and hold reset, you're only resetting the computer that runs the screen. You're not resetting the entire car. The car can still be driven as I am now. You can still use autopilot. Everything from a safety perspective continues functioning. The only bit that isn't functioning is the display screen and the computer gubbins that drive it. Question: on the new car, is the Tesla logo replaced with letters? Because the big T is going away. That is the thing that's being taken away with the new Juniper. So is the T being taken away as well? I am curious. We're going to have to do a 2-button reset of my new car when it comes to find out. Purely for science, scientific research, so to speak. Anyway, we're waiting for everything to come back up. See, it's still where I am. The energy chart has still been calculating, so it's still showing me on 237 now on the 10 mile, and 224 watt hours per mile overall. We started on 209. We haven't got all the way to the bottom yet though, so there's still some time to go, and we're still on 48% in the battery, although I suspect it's probably a little hello, it's probably a little more than that. Obviously the drive part of the computer, that's been reset with the resetting of the computer, and we're still basically showing null point when it comes to the connection for the eSIM. Okay, we'll see how we get on. I suspect that is going to come back, but yeah, there's no media source connection there either. So you can do a 2-button reset whilst you're driving perfectly safely. We've only just pulled away from the temporary lights. You just saw the end of roadwork sign there, and the map is back. So the 2-button reset has cleared whatever it was that had sent it whappy. I'm still going to put this back on though, because this is interesting. Also interesting for me is the changing landscape. So on the southern side of the pass, it was very arid and dry and no trees or anything like that. Here, lots of trees, and it's much greener, so it looks completely different, even though it's basically on the northern flank of the same ridge line that the southern flank we were just on is. So it's the same area, and yet it looks completely and totally different. Although I do wonder, with the river now down in the valley, does that make a difference? We are here in Braemar, having now completed the descent off the Glenshee mountain. So 140 watt hours per mile is impressive. The trip is now on 222. It was on 209 when we were going through Blair Gowrie. So we have increased our consumption overall, although I expect that will drop. And the battery's still on 47%. So we've done quite a number of miles and it's still on 47%, because that shows you just how little energy we've actually been burning. We have been recuperating energy back into the battery like a good one all the way down the hill. So that's made a huge difference, and it's still dropping even though I'm doing the speed limit as we exit Braemar. So if you could find a long enough hill and just carry on driving down it, you could drive forever without needing to charge. Wouldn't that be great? You just need a big enough hill. Meandering our way along the well, I was going to say Dee Valley, but it's branded as Royal Deeside because of Balmoral Castle, which is just up here. But look, wafting along this river valley, and the river is just down there. 159 watt hours per mile on the last 10 miles, and it's staying down there. So even on 45% of the battery at this rate of consumption, it's saying I've got 212 miles still to go. I'll let you do the maths. 45%, 215 miles of range. That's an awful lot, but again, you would have to be wafting it along on the flats as I'm now doing. But I'm not going to stay on the flats because we're turning left here towards Tom and Towel, and we're going to go over the delightfully named Cock Bridge and back over towards northern Aberdeenshire that way, because this is the boring route. We're going to go the fun route as we've been doing for this entire trip. Again, this isn't a road I often drive in this direction. Usually I drive it in the other direction. So already this is fun, but as you can see, it's very single track. Well, I suppose it wobbles a little bit here and there, but with the kind of tourist traffic that you get on here, because this is now on the Aberdeenshire 250. So everyone's heard of the North Coast 500. There is an Aberdeenshire 250, and this is on it. So you do get some interesting traffic on here, and I've had to shunt in the past going around a few of these because of people coming the other way. Anyway, that I assume is going to be the bottom of that. It's going to go amber again, and then as we drop down the other side, it's going to go green again. But we're still only on 45% of the battery. I've done miles and miles and miles, and it's reduced down by what, 2%? Amazing. The only problem with this road is that it's got so many blind summits that you, where there's a passing place at the top on one of the summits, and there often is, you do need to go offline into it, basically, so that you're out of the way just in case somebody is coming in the opposite direction, because you cannot see them. I'm trying to peer over the edge, but I mean, like, that is properly blind. It's only as you get towards the edge of it, you can see where the road goes. Clearly it's going right here because there's a pole. No, it's going straight. Okay. See, there you go. I thought it was veering that way, and it wasn't. And then suddenly it opens up and you can see a little better. What I like, though, about driving this car is one pedal driving makes it so easy on this kind of road. You want to go a little faster, push the foot down. You want to slow down, lift it up again. You don't have to be thinking about throttle and brake. You certainly don't have to be thinking about gears or anything like that. It's quite literally faster, slower. I think one pedal driving is transformational on a road like this. One very final clip before we go home and wrap this thing up. I've just dropped to 33% now on the battery, and we have done 181 miles since we left. So that gives a full to empty range of 273 miles on this waft along trip, where I've been doing 220 watt hours per mile. That is actually a little disappointing. I thought I'd be seeing somewhere over 300, but if we go on to the energy use chart, so based on what I've just said there, 180 miles, yeah, for 2/3 of the battery, so 90 miles is what you should be expecting. So on the 10 mile it's 111, it's 109, it's 104. So basically the computer is saying to me that no, we're not going to be able to do another 90 miles, we can do another probably 100, 110. So that would get me to about 290, which I suppose is a little bit better. But yeah, again, I thought it might be slightly more, but never mind. It's still been a genuinely fantastic drive back. This car is wonderful in these conditions, just to waft along. There's been a couple of overtakes, a couple on camera, some not on camera, but you can just clear people really quickly in this car and still not burn loads of energy. And so there it is, I'm back home. It's been a fun, interesting drive in so many ways. The scenery, understanding how the car works, thinking about just how efficient things can be. I think the final number is pretty impressive considering the kind of roads that I've been driving on and the range that it gives me. I mean, look, you know, I'm going from I'm going across Scotland without even having to really think about charging. So the legs that this car has got, if you want to do a long trip, really is reassuring. And that, of course, is why I'm just getting a Tesla again by getting the new one. If you want to see more of this type of video, or indeed my big reveal for what the new car exactly is, then make sure that you've liked and subscribed and hit the bell icon. You know all of that already. And I will see you back here very soon on Just Get a Tesla.